Alright guys, yeah, here we are inside the vehicle and it's a mess. I've been tearing everything apart because kind of sort of been putting it back together. It started out as a V6, it is now a GT, but that's another video in itself. But anyway, so I've got the stock cassette player and the CD player out of the car. I ended up buying or finding on a 95 a Mach 460 system. So it came with both tweeters. I didn't get the door speakers because I really didn't care because I'm going to switch them out anyway. And the rear deck box, which I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but there's no light. But it's an actual box itself, so it comes with the 5x7s and then the tweeters or the mid-ranges, whatever you guys want to call them, up top here. So I try to just, hook everything back up. I'm not into audio or any of that, so I just try to hook up the factory radio back up to it. And when I did, the only sound that was coming out was through the tweeters on all four of them. So I thought that was odd. So immediately I thought, I'm like, man, I paid money for all this junk, and now it is actually junk. And a buddy of mine, he has a 460 setup in his, and I think it sounds pretty good for factory. I mean, I'm not trying to go subs or anything like that. I'm not into audio. I mean, I like decent stuff, but I'm not just gonna spend out $1,000 on speakers and stuff. So anyway, I thought I thought the amps were blown. So I took them out and I put them in his, and then we switched them out. We tested them that way, and we're like, well, no, the amps are working. Well, what the hell? So come to find out, there's a separate harness that needs to be connected, and it's kind of like the slave harness that comes, like if you were to get the if you had the car, if you were to have the CD player and the tape deck. It's a slave harness, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. But basically, you have a harness that looks like this with the ground, and it goes underneath and it connects to another piece up here, finally rounding out and then going to the amplifier in there. And turn that on, still no dice. So I was wondering what the hell. So I ended up going back. I didn't know I had these two cables here, or these two plugs that were unplugged, and I had no idea. I mean, a long time ago when I was putting the wiring back in, I had no idea what this was. So that's what that plugged up to. But that's not what I had. This whole cable here that ran here, I had no idea what that was. Come to find out, I went back to the junkyard and I ended up getting this cable. This harness here is what allows the receiver or the amplifier to send the signal back to the box that's in the back. And I ended up going back to the junkyard to get it. But the only problem is, one thing I forgot to mention is that even though this car is a 98 body, the motor and everything in it is a 99. I had to change out everything to make a 99. Now, year to year or model to model, everything's the same, but in 99, for whatever reason, Ford just started changing a bunch of these little plugs. I mean, all the wires are the same, but they just started changing all the plugs, I guess, just to make it different or whatever. But anyway, so I ended up getting this harness, and I couldn't use it because the plugs didn't match up. So I didn't know that these plugs, I guess in the 99, these two plugs here, this one and this one down here, are integrated as part of this harness. And again, this is the harness that runs to the box in the back. I didn't know that in 99 plus, all the 99 plus, this is integrated. Well, in the 90, I guess the pre-99s, it's not. It's actually part. And that's what these two plugs are here. So these same two plugs are integrated as part of the whole harness, but here it's part of that. I didn't know that. So anyway, I ended up having to get and find a speaker harness that just plugged up to that off of eBay. So anyway, I got that straightened out. So again, that's what, well, you guys can't see it. Again, that's what that harness is there for. So anyway, I got all the harnesses together and I plugged it in and still no dice. And I'm thinking, man, what the hell? So I'm going to show you exactly. Now normally I would disconnect the battery, but I'm just unplugging harnesses. I'm not actually doing any real electrical work. So I'm not even going to bother doing that. But anyway, just to show you guys, I've got the factory radio in now. And I will plug in, let me just put that there. And I will plug in the factory radio or speaker here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, I'll plug in the factory speaker here. And again, this is not the MACH 460 speaker in the doors. These are still my factory speakers, premium. That's what it says on the back. So anyway, that's hooked up there. And the reason why I say it's premium, because it says it on the back. Yeah. So you see right there, premium. So, alright, we'll put that in there and turn the car on. So I know I got power because that's what this cable here, the Christmas tree light cable, is. The solid gray one is your speaker wire cable, and your orange one's your antenna. So anyway, let's try to power this up, and I'm going to find a station that I know has a good signal, and I'll tell you why it did not work here, or why I only got 4 the speakers. Now if you notice, I've got it maxed out all the way, and the only thing that's coming out is from the tweeters, all 4 tweeters. And I put my ear to them and I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, man, what the hell? So I ended up going back to the junkyard and switching out the amp in there, because this is off my premium. My premium only has 2 plugs. This is what came off my car. So I plugged it back in. I undid this one and put the MACH 460, again, the same setup that I got from all the other speakers and stuff to begin with, same car. I pulled out that amp, plugged it back in, and still no dice. Here we are, and I'm like, man, what the hell's going on? And then the only thing I could think of, because the radio wasn't in the car, but the only thing I could think of, I was like, man, I don't remember the car being a different radio. Now my buddy doesn't have the stock radio, his kind of died or whatever, or he just didn't like it. But anyway, he doesn't have his factory radio. But I did notice that mine regular radio looks a little bit different than the MACH 460s after some Googling and stuff. I was like, man, I wonder if that was the problem. I didn't want to mess with it, so I ended up getting a CD deck, and I've showed you the video already. This is the Alpine, and I was hoping, I was like, well, maybe the signal on the factory. I signed up for all these forums and stuff, and basically asking, I was like, well, maybe the signal sends something to the other amps to turn on or whatever, but they were like, it could be, nobody's actually done it. So again, this is what I'm telling you guys who have no MACH 460 and want it. Everything will fit. This there's a bolt here, and you have your 2 screws here that will allow this to bolt up here. So again, everything's fitted for, like, if you didn't have it or not. You will need this harness. I don't have a harness number, or a part number for the harness, but I will sure get you one. And again, you will need, if you have a 99 plus, these 2 plugs will be integrated in the car, just in case you were to add it. If not, you will need this harness here, and there's the part number again. I will add it into the video, and I will show you guys here in just a second what the aftermarket deck will do.